XRP is very popular right now. It's currently at about $2.32. And no, we're not past the big peak points where we could get very excited. Hey, listen up. It's been a good 24 hours, and the last 7 days have been pretty interesting to watch in the world of XRP and even crypto in general. In other words, Bitcoin was selling at about 1 in 9K. There are still trades going on around 1 in 9K. It's just getting ready for a much bigger move. When it comes to XRP, the price has been pretty stable while people wait for old coins to wake up. $2.32 is a good start for XRP. You can see that a lot of XRP has been moved around the world in the last 60 seconds if you look at my screen right now. One of the most important ones to keep an eye on is, well, up it. As a matter of fact, it is up right now and holding the biggest market for XRP because the Korean market is so hot right now. In fact, the amount of XRP traded in Korea has flipped Bitcoin, which is crazy to see. I'm not sure if this is fully up to date now. Let me go over this again. Then we have it right here. So yeah, $2.29 Bitcoin at about 1.8 points, which is almost $1.00 K. Hey, listen up. It's great that XRP is making waves like it is. And as for open interest, we can see that there has been about $58 million, 0 cents worth of open interest in XRP on the spot market in the last hour. The net flow of money into the heat map has been about $46 million, 0 cents. That means that most of that $58 million, 0 cents is coming into XRP. That's great to see. That's a great thing to really pay attention to since most of that trading volume is spot arrivals. Even more than that, this caused everyone to really shake up the market with posts like this. In South Korea, Justin, XRP is the most popular cryptocurrency. Its 24-hour trade volume is over 132.59 million won. And this is all the way through it. This might not be visible to us, so we could see how much it was. This has about 127.6 million sitting on it right now. There isn't a big change here. It went down a bit, but once more, the Korean market for XRP has always been very active. Sometime in December 2024, I believe the South Korean market was worth more than $1 billion in just the last 24 hours. This is something I think could have happened with XRP as well. I think it might have been a little more back then. I want to go back for a moment. So we have the candles every month. That's how much was traded each month, 520 billion. Then in December, it was around $330 billion, 0 cents. We had close to $1 trillion worth of trades around XRP in just these 2 months, which is crazy to think about, but we can see how crazy some of these weekly candles were because they were weekly candles and traded more than $90 billion worth of XRP every week. As I already said, there was a lot of open interest in XRP at that time on some of these exchanges. This was especially true in South Korea, where XRP is a big deal. You should know that these exchanges had 24-hour trade volume days worth more than $1 billion. I love that the South Korean market for XRP is still very active. They have a good reason not to. Actually, we do know that Brad Garlinghouse is going to appear today before the Senate Banking Committee. This is likely to be one of those events where prices don't change much. Most likely, we won't see a lot of news from, but the most important thing is that this is still being talked about. And I would say that the industry is working together with us to make sure that we get crypto-friendly laws in the US that won't hurt or slow down innovation. But in the end, let new ideas grow. And for the US market to grow in many ways, this will help crypto become a bigger part of the US system since we already see how big some of these companies and projects are growing in the US. I do believe that if laws are passed that support crypto innovation, this will only continue to speed up, especially for safe coins. To really pay attention to this is another important thing with Wave with ROUSD, but Brad Garlinghouse did get in touch with us. He did say that it was an honor to be asked to talk to the Senate Banking Committee this Wednesday about how important it is to pass laws that set up the crypto market. He did say thank you to all of the subcommittee chairs for the digital tools. You have been a leader in this hearing and in supporting the crypto business over the years. This is an important moment because of your leadership. The US needs to pass laws that will help the crypto market structure in creating a new era of new ideas and business opportunities while keeping customers safe. I'd love to see it. Of course, it makes sense to separate these people from space from those who are just around the usual markets. I've always said that this is the best way to get rules for the space. Even back in 2023, 2024, and even 2021 and 2022, people who have been in charge of crypto for years will be involved. Listen up, Brad Garlinghouse is also not afraid of the real world. To be exact, he began in TradFi. We really wanted to see standard players work together with blockchain and crypto players, and now we're starting to see it. This is the best way to get to, I would say, a very good general structure for crypto laws and rules. Just like I said, that will help it grow a lot. Now, let's talk about ETFs, because we've been hearing a lot about them for XRP. That's why I think XRP is starting to have such a big impact outside of the big events. Again, a lot of people are likely to put a lot of weight behind this and just guess, but you should know that 90 to 95% of all coins are now approved for ETFs. This news did come to us on June 20th. XRP is now at about 95%. Also in that area are Franklin Templeton, 21 shares, Bitwise Canary, Wisdom Tree, Coin Shares, and Grayscale. Right now, a lot of the XRP ETFs are being held up. I really want this to change. If you're interested, I'll talk a little more about the ETF decisions that we should expect to see this month. But first, let me talk about a few things. First, yes, there are now about 18 different ETF applications for XRP. We're just waiting for one of these to do something. We do know that a lot of futures ETFs were allowed, and in the US, XRP was one of them. There is now also a spot XRP ETF that is trading live in Canada and even Brazil. But we want the XRP market in the US to grow a lot. All of these ETFs are being watched because of this. Of course, I think all of these will work out once we get approval for the one spot ETF. And these guys are worth a lot of money. The total amount of money used for assets and control is billions or even trillions of dollars, with some amounts being as low as a few $1,000,000. But mostly this is a very important thing to think about. However, Nate Grassi gave us important news. It has to do with the SEC. According to Reuters, the SEC is working on making a full system to make it easier for spot crypto ETFs to be approved. There needs to be a general rule for the SEC and apply to all entries, and the exchanges are still arguing over the exact language. That's something you can see inside this. That quote I just read is here. The SEC is also working on a plan for how they'd like all of these crypto assets to be included in investment funds. This is to deal with the huge increase in the number of ETFs that are currently waiting for a legal decision. That is to say, this makes a lot of sense. There are already about 18 XRP. Putting all of these under one set of rules would make things a lot easier and speed up the process. When it comes to XRP, I do believe that it is in a special place because it has been killing the game since about 10 or 12 months ago. This also has ties to the US company Ripple, which is growing quickly. Their ROUSD stablecoin is also becoming a bigger part of the US market. Also, Ripple did apply for a banking license, and they've been making a lot of moves with officials. Aside from that, they take part in important talks like this one with the Senate Banking Committee. That's great to see. I will say it again. I believe XRP is in a very special place right now. Even though the SEC's challenge has been dropped, we are still waiting for them to do so. I do believe that Ripple and XRP are getting more attention in the market. Also, keep in mind that NASDAQ wanted to add XRP to its crypto index. Hashtag NASDAQ crypto ETF. Hashtag crypto ETF soon if the SEC gives the go-ahead by November. And a big thank you to Cetus for this. But yeah, this is also one to keep an eye on. I think that a lot of what we see about these ETFs are just times that we should follow, but I think it happens a lot faster. I mean, I don't think this has to wait until November. I don't think we'll have to wait long for many of these ETF entries. Listen, things are moving faster now, but I just said that there are a lot of XRP ETF dates in July. This is all of those July ETF reports.